Francis Xavier Engineering College, Vannarpettai, Tirunelveli, is one of the best autonomous NBA accredited institutions in Tamil Nadu. The college is awarded with gold category by AICTE CII survey for 2 consecutive years. FX provides holistic education and enhanced skill training to make its students industry ready. Unbeatable placement record, cutting-edge research, state-of-the-art applied labs are the hallmark of FX Easy. Get enrolled and experience unlimited learning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. Shall we start, sir?
Yes, sir. Sorry for the slight delay because of rain here.
Oh,
Some
okay.
connectivity problem. Now I am connected with an alternate connection.
Okay.
No issues. So we can start, sir.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Good morning to all. I am Dr. V. Kannan, working as a professor and head of the Department of Civil Engineering in Francis Xavier Engineering College, Tirunelveli, Tamil Nadu. Let me introduce my institute. Francis Xavier Engineering College was established in the year of 2000. It is a very oldest engineering college in Tamil Nadu state. We are an autonomous institution from the year of 2019, and we are offering many undergraduate, postgraduate, and research programs. We are always focusing to provide a quality education to the students. Our college accredited by NBA and many programs is permanently affiliated to Anna University, Chennai. Now, on behalf of Department of Civil Engineering, Francis Xavier Engineering College, I would like to thank today's resource person, Professor Dr. C. Rajasekharan sir, Department of Civil Engineering, National Institute of Technology, Surathkal, Karnataka, for accepting our invitation, and he is come over here to deliver an interesting topic in concrete technology. I am also happy to welcome all the participants for this live session on the implementation of quality control in concrete, a practical approach. We all know that the process of manufacturing of concrete is very simple and anyone can do it because it is a mixture of 4 materials such as cement, fine aggregate, coarse aggregate, and water. Depending upon our requirement, sometimes we are using mineral and chemical admixture also. But when we talk about high strength and durable concrete, there is a need of quality control in concrete mix. So I strongly believe that after completion of this session, you will get an idea about the need of quality control in concrete protection for the better strength and durability of the concrete. Now I call upon our program coordinator to give a brief introduction about today's resource person. Rajapriya ma'am, you please go ahead.
A very happy morning to all. I feel so glad to introduce the speaker of today's webinar, Dr. C. Rajasekharan. He has done his BTech in Civil Engineering from Pondicherry Engineering College in 2003, MTech in Advanced Concrete Technology from Pondicherry Engineering College in 2005, and PhD in Ocean Engineering from IIT Madras in 2012. He has been working as a project officer and senior project officer at IIT Madras till September 2011. He has also been a scientist in Ocean Engineering Division at CSIR till October 2013. He has started his teaching profession at NIT Surathkal under different grades and currently being Assistant Professor Grade 1 in Department of Civil Engineering at NIT Surathkal. He is an expertise in different areas like concrete technology, construction safety, geopolymer concrete, coastal hydrodynamics, building information modeling, surveying, and so on. He has published around 30 SCI journals, 9 book chapters, and has attended 57 international conferences and 10 national conferences and symposiums. He has been given the Best Paper Award at the International Conference on Sustainable Construction and Building Materials, conducted at Mangalore on June 2018. He has been the best outgoing student and rank holder during his undergraduate program. He is also a reviewer in many reputed journals, and his achievements are many more. I feel so proud to introduce such an eminent person to our webinar, and we wish you a great success in all your future endeavors also, sir. I heartfully thank the Department of Civil Engineering of Francis Xavier Engineering College for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.
Good morning, one and all. This is Rajshekaran from NITK, Suratkal. I request all the participants to mute their mic, if possible, video also, in order to get the good bandwidth along the presentation. And thank you, HOD sir, and thank you, Ms. Rajapiriya, for introducing me. And there was a small hiccup in the starting of the presentation. That's why it got delayed. And I have connected through the alternate connection. So if the seminar or the presentation mute for more than 10 or 50 seconds, kindly call me, sir. HOD sir?
Sure.
Fine. So I'll be sharing my PPT. One second. Is it visible, sir? Is it visible, sir?
Yes, sir, visible.
So today's topic of presentation is implementation of quality control in concrete, a practical approach. And I thank Department of Civil Engineering of Francis Xavier Engineering College for giving me the opportunity to express my views about the quality control in concrete and how it is practically we can approach and how much important it is to the fellow students and research scholars and scientific community. So you know people that concrete is one of the most common construction materials on earth today. And it is used in many buildings, statues, wonders of the world. Sometimes we forgot that how much important it really is. It's not just something hard that helps building up, staying up. It's some things that keep us standing and stable and allow us to enjoy the different places, events, and many seminars or say cricket or plays, many things we can do it. So it is crazy how much of impact that concrete has on the world. Just think of without a concrete. Buildings won't be stable, right? You will be constructing in with the help of alternate materials like timber or other materials. So it won't be much stable as concrete. And there will be no roads or paths, and that would be a wet dust everywhere. And it will be more difficult to cross the rivers. There will be no bridges, and we won't be able to watch sports, concerts, and people are nowadays very much interested in watching IPLs on stage. So that will be missing, and all the flights may be fitted with the water landing facility because there will be no runways. So concrete is so much important to not only for civil engineers, but also for each and everyone who lives in the world. Any successful construction project is the one which can be achieved a balance between the cost, time, and quality. So quality control is nothing but a branch from the quality management sector as the responsible party to ensure that products and facilities comply with the requirements and established standards. So hence, it is essential to control these variations to reduce the contrast between the strength, characteristic strength, mean strength, then concrete mix, and finally diminishing the quality of the cement substances. So if you take concrete, usually we will be using, manufacturing or we'll be producing it with the help of locally accessible materials. Even though in some places it is not available with the materials, they'll be importing from a long distance, and they'll be stocking it up, and we'll be using it. So in that case, we have a doubt, we have a concern about the quality of the material, because the quality of the material going to take part in the strength of the concrete. So the variation in the strength of the concrete are due to several factors, starting from variation in the materials, as I said, then quality of the materials and what type of mixed proportion we are doing it, and what type of batching we are preparing it, and what are the mixing techniques we are doing, then how we are going to handle during the production of the concrete. At the end, workmanship will plays a major role in getting out the end product of the concrete. So implementation of quality control become inevitable, and it is very important in order to get a very good qualified concrete. So how we can define quality? Quality has a very broader meaning in different areas. Say, for example, if you ask me in a sector of automobile industry, quality having a different meaning. Say, I want to buy, if I want to buy a car, say I want to buy a quality car, how we are going to set the standard, whether through the luxury or through the mileage or through the cost or through the comfort. So many factors we'll be considering in terms of in order to design the quality in automobile industry. In same way, in construction industry also, it varies. So it is nothing but we can broadly classify as it is excellence, and it is thus a philosophy rather than a mere attribute. The difference between two objects is judged by their other qualities. Anyway, we are going to judge this quality with respect to some standards with some level of acceptability. As per ISO 9000:2005, quality is the degree to which a set of inherent characteristics fulfill requirements according to the standards. And the definition of quality is totally changing time to time. Why? Because we need to update our understanding of concrete as a material and its property. Because of the development of special concretes and their applications, we need to change our mindset of the quality, and the limitations of existing test methods and specifications towards establishing new methods and specification of new concrete. Nowadays, we are not only using the OPC, we have started using many other new cements, for example, PPCs, Portland slag cement, blended cement. So various new cements we have started using it, but we are following the same old technique. For example, in order to find out the workability, we are using the slump, but slump is mainly intended for the OPC. So we need to counteract or counterpart the effect of the PPC, Portland cement, and on the workability, because the workability test is mainly found out with the help of the OPC. And to understand the issue in shifting to more performance-based thinking, because nowadays you are not thinking about in terms of strength, you are talking about the durability. Durability become a first factor for the concrete nowadays, and people always forget that concrete is not a maintenance-free material. It is always a maintenance. Maintenance. We need to spend something on the maintenance. So in order to integrate the maintenance and the repair in the overall life cycle of the concrete, the quality plays a major role. So the concept of quality is changing from old days to present days. Is totally changed. For example, the old concept of quality is technical. So we need to highly specific on each and everything on some specific standard. But as for now, it is strategic because the quality, the place. In one place, the quality will be different. Then other place, the quality will be different. But I can recommend that quality for that place based on the environmental condition, the application of the building, or the loading factors. So many things are there. So we are changed to technically to strategically. And in old concept, it is about the products. So, but as per the new concept, it is about the organization. So, which organization? So that plays a major role. In earlier decades, the quality will be led by the experts, but nowadays it is led by the management. Management will be providing with a quality management team, and they will be looking after this one. And quality is done by the inspectors as in the old days, but now it is everyone's responsible. Now we always look for a higher grade concrete in the old concept, but here nowadays we are looking for an appropriate improvement, because if you take the 28 strength of OPC, we can say I'll be expecting say M25 concrete. My 28 days strength will be I'll be expecting for 30 MPa. But in case of an fly ash based concrete or other blended cement, I cannot expect the same 28 days strength of 30 MPa. for the same concrete. So I need to wait for some time in order to get the high strength when the time passes. Then in the old concept, it is about the control, how I'm going to control the use of material in order to get the exact strength of the concrete or the exact quality of the concrete. But nowadays, we are starting about the improvement. We are not going to control it. We are starting improving, keep on improving the material quality. And at the last, is all about specifications. Are we following the specification in the old concept? But nowadays, at the end, customer going to enjoy the fruitfulness. So we are concerned about the customer satisfaction in the new concept of quality. So in construction, meaning quality to any permanent structure should be the best performance to the aesthetic, meeting to the specification, and more relative. So quality can be quality in concrete or construction can be having four main arms. One is the timely completion. Next is conformance to the specification. Next is client satisfaction, and finally doing a job right at the first time. So quality even plays more critical role in the construction industry, where wrongdoings cannot be reversed at the later stage. So there will not be no substitute. There will not be no substitute for the quality in the construction. If we are forgoing the quality in the concrete during the construction time itself, then it will pay the things at the end very drastically. It may maybe the structure may fail also. So first, we will see about some mistakes in the concrete construction. We say this may not look like mistakes at all. So as a technical person, we have to tell the people who are working on the construction site these as the mistakes. First one is compaction of bottom strata in foundation work is not carried out properly. Many people will forget that we have to properly compact the foundation or the bottom strata where the foundation is going to lay. Then construction materials like sand, brick, aggregate are not washed at all, and the presence of there will be a high chance of presence of deleterious materials and dust. And cement sand mix mortar in the mortar and the brick masonry is made quite early. So we need to have a close time laying between the mix and application of the mix on the mortar. And sometimes we used to produce a larger quantity of material which is required more than that. That also considered as a mistake. And during the concreting and footing, people will be pouring the concrete from a higher stage. Sometimes it will be, if it is greater than 1 meter, we need to use a proper methods to transfer the concrete from the upper level to the lower level. And generally, the trapezoidal footings are resorted to where concrete is never vibrated. Usually, we never vibrate the foundations during the concreting, because people will think that it will settle with its own weight, especially with the trapezoidal footing. That is considered as one of the mistakes. And reinforced concrete column, being an important part of the structure, are neither mechanically vibrated nor machine mixed. And they are cast in short lift with the increased number of joints. Usually, for the sake of the workmanship, for increase the efficiency of the workman, so what they will do is they will construct the column with this short lifts. Lifts is nothing but the vertical height, vertical distance where the work can be done for their day for a column. Cover in the reinforcement in the columns, beams, and slabs is insufficient. Sometimes we will always forget about the cover, which has to be given for the reinforcement, and we have to maintain the levels throughout the beam or throughout the slab or throughout the column in order to avoid the exposing of the reinforcement outside after the construction of the concrete. And no cover to the reinforcement in the ground, in the contact of the ground. Sometimes what we will do, we will forget about the, we will directly place the cage, that is reinforcement cage, on the foundation. That may lead to what happens, that may lead to the exposure of this reinforcement directly on the ground, If some reactive materials available on the ground, because of the water table, that may react with the steel reinforcement, which leads to the corrosion, and later it may have the effect on this. So that will be considered as a mistake if you are not maintaining the cover to the reinforcement on the ground of the contact of ground. Next is the misalignment of column at the foundation level and rectification at the higher level, leading to the eccentric loading. So we need to maintain the verticality of the column in all the levels, and it should be always online with the footing throughout the length, throughout the height of the building. Then reinforced cupping with at the plinth level being an important barrier to dampness is never densely cast, because this plinth level beam will act as a buffer between the ground and the building, which will avoid the dampness from the ground to the building. Plinth filling is never carried out in layers or never compacted. So we always do the plinth filling stage by stage, and we have to give some ample of time for the consolidation of the level in order to avoid the subsidence of the land after the construction. At the joints of reinforced concrete and brick masonry, either the RC surface is not roughened or filling of mortar at the joint is not evident. So always we need to roughen the concrete surface or filing the mortars at the joints, and this we are always forgetting, and this will be considered as one of the mistake. And the joint of the brick masonry at larger height are improperly racked. So we never follow a proper racking system in the brick masonry. For example, if it is an infill wall or a partition wall, we need to follow some brick bond from arrangement of bricks in order to get a proper qualified infill wall. That is not carried out. Mixing ratio in plaster and brick masonry is not maintained, and we need to maintain same plaster, same ratio, and same ratio between the plaster and the brick masonry, but it is not followed. That may lead to some of the cohesion properties between the plaster and also the brick masonry. In case of the beams were cast prior to the slabs, sometimes in large slabs, the concrete in the beam starts setting before casting of RC slab. So we need to give attention for this issue, and we should know when we need to pour the concrete, and especially between the joint between the beam and also the slab. And the next main problem is the concrete spilled on the sides of the beam while casting is never removed, which gets subsequently hard, because the interfacial between that spilled over concrete and the concrete which is pouring after that will not they have an interfacial between them, because it will set before well before the pouring of the next concrete, which will certainly weakens the concrete. And this is the usual scenario in almost all of our homes. That is, reinforcement of RC column is kept exposed above RC slabs. We used to see in all of our homes that in the first floor or in the roof, the reinforcement will be exposing, and we are just we are not worried about the things after because of that. We need to seal it with the proper, at least with the PCC mix, and to avoid the exposure of the reinforcement to the environment. Hacking to the concrete surface is poorly done prior to the plastering, because now we started using different types of formworks, new formwork types, maybe steel or aluminum formworks we have started using. So with that formwork, we'll be getting a polished surface of concrete. So where the sizzling is needed or hacking is needed in order for the purpose of mortar or plaster to stick on to the surface, that we are not doing because of the short of time or short of labor. So that also considered as a mistake. And bearing to the lintels on both the ends is not sufficient. So the bearings is nothing but the distance for the support on the top for the beam on the top of the window. So that we are not providing properly, which will lead to the cracks. You may notice in your homes that some cracks will be developed at the top end of the windows. That is because of we are not providing a proper lintel bearings for the window. So that also one of the mistakes we always forget to rectify during the construction stage itself. And regarding we need to consider the what type of soil is there before the geotechnical before the construction starting of construction. Suppose if it is a black cotton soil, we need to consider the uplift pressure, and if it is a load bearing structure, we need to give attention that no secondary beam should be directly resting on the wall, which will give you a point load to the wall, and we need to specially design in that area if we are doing the same thing in the unavoidable conditions. So why the mistakes happen? The main thing is ignorance. The first and foremost thing is ignorance of the people. And next one is the poor materials. Next one is the poor materials. Third one is poor design. Fourth one is poor detailing. Fifth one is poor workmanship. So these five are more important, major factor in the causes of the mistakes. So other mistakes like other causes are improper quantity of cement, improper concrete mix, excess water, inadequate compaction, substandard forms, inadequate curing, inadequate cover, poor construction practices, poor supervision, ultimately lack of technical knowledge. These are the other causes because for the poor quality or mistakes which is happened in the construction. So if you rectify the first 5 points, then automatically other things will be rectified on its own. So the results of these mistakes, certainly cracks will be developed in the concrete. Then improper bonding between the concrete and brick, which will certainly have a look on the aesthetic of the building. Then spillage of plaster, dampness of the wall, leakage of slabs, cracks the brick masonry, settlement of foundation and the walls. So we'll come to the quality control. So this up to this slide we are seeing about quality of the concrete. Okay. What is my quality control? Why I need to control the quality? Construction is always related to the economy. Always related to the economy. Always related to the money. Suppose if I want M20 concrete, M20 grade concrete, if I use M40 concrete in that place, then it is a loss to me. So in that case, I need to control the quality of the concrete. So this is on the higher side. If you take on the lower side, suppose if I use instead of M20 concrete, if I cast for M15, and that also not allowed. So we need to have a control the quality on both the ends, both the higher end and also lower end. That's why we need the quality control terms came. So you should basically the quality control means the rational use of resources. So it is the process of initiating corrective action for errors, developing systems to detect errors by faster, efficiently and effectively, and ultimately prevents error from occurring. So this is a basic definition for the quality control, and quality control procedures in concrete implemented with the help of appropriate mixing, proper compaction, correct placement of concrete on place, and adequate curing. After placing of concrete, we need to cure it. We need to cure with the new methods in order to get the hydration done in a proper way. So quality control ensures with the strict monitoring of every stage of concrete production. So ultimately it will rectify the faults, and also the quality control reduce the maintenance cost. Ultimately it will prevent the temptation of over design. So now we'll see the quality control chain, how the quality will have the impact, in each and every stage of a concrete. Starting with there are three main stages. The first one is the influence of basic ingredients on the concrete quality. Starting with the cement. So cement is the major constituent material in the concrete, which will act as a chemical material. starting with the properties of the cement, with the fineness, because fineness plays a major role in the grade of the concrete. Next, setting and hardening of. Next is strength of the cement. Next, soundness. Next is heat of hydration. And these are the factors to be considered and for the quality check. So there is a limit for each and every property given for a certain type of the cement with respect to the codes. We are referring to the IS code. So I'll be informing you about what are the values and what are the codes to be followed for each and every material at the end of the slides. So next is water will have a major influence on this quality of the concrete. That is, it should be free from the dirt and deleterious material, and it should have some. It should maintain the pH value. It should be it should be between 6 to 8. It should not be less than 6. It should not be more than 8. Then aggregate. Aggregate will give the full dimensional stability to the concrete. And I'm talking about both coarse aggregate and fine aggregate. Starting with the classification. So what type of aggregate it is, whether it is from sedimentary rock or igneous rock, that will place the density of the aggregate, then shape and size of the aggregate, surface structure, strength of the aggregate. Strength is nothing but crushing strength and abrasion value, then water absorption, moisture, surface moisture, bulking of sand and bulk density, thermal properties, deleterious substances, whether anything is available, that we have to look for in the aggregate before the construction of the before the construction starts. Then soundness, whether it is tend to change its volume with respect to time. Then alkali aggregate reaction and durability. So usually we will refer as an inert material. Sometimes the aggregate may have some reaction components on the surface of the aggregate where the alkali which is present in the cement will have a reaction on the aggregate, which will lead to some problem during the construction process, which will have an impact on the durability. Then grading of aggregate. So totally, if you take the fine aggregate, we will be having four zones as per the IS 456 codal provision. Say zone 1 is coarser, zone 2 is still between the coarser and finer, and usually we will recommend zone 2 or zone 3 for the construction. We never consider zone 4 for the construction because of very fine nature of the soil. So next is having the influence of special admixtures of quality control. Because nowadays without admixture there is no concreting happening, and we are started using ready mix concrete in a wide manner because in situ concrete mixing is somewhat difficult nowadays because of many constraints, because of traffic, environment, timings, and so on. Many factors are there. So we will be relying on the ready mix concrete. So if it is ready-mix concrete, the concretes will be the ingredients will be mixed in somewhere else. It will be transported with the help of the roller trucks, and it will be deposited at the concrete place with the boomer. And so we need some type of special concretes in order to maintain the quality, in order to maintain the workability of the concrete, and in order to maintain the initial setting, final setting, and other properties of the concrete. So we'll be greatly relying on the admixtures of the admixtures, and with admixtures we'll be looking for the effect of this admixture on the workability, the effect of the admixture on the water absorption capacity, the effect of this admixture on the viscosity. So many parameters will be considering with the admixture. So usually admixtures are basically, it will be classified in different types. One is chemical admixture and one is mineral admixtures. Chemical admixtures are nothing, mineral admixture are nothing but say fly ash, GGBS, nanosilica, alkafine. So microsilica. These are some metakaolin. These are some of the naturally occurring admixtures which will certainly enhance the properties of the concrete. Chemical admixtures, there will be superplasticizers will be there. It depends upon the usability of the chemical admixtures. Will be classifying this admixtures. So These types of admixture will plays a major role in the quality of concrete. What type of admixtures we need, then special admixtures in case of say cold, hot weather concreting or underwater concreting or cold weather concreting. During that time, we need a special type of admixtures where it will have an influence on the chemical process itself, the chemical process, that is the heat hydration process itself in the concrete. Then the selection criteria. So what type of admixture should be selected for the particular concrete? That these factors will have the influence of the admixtures in the quality of the concrete. Next, foremost important thing is influence of concrete operations on the quality. So the end product, whatever materials you are using, this concrete operation will play a major role in defining the quality of the concrete. So starting with the formwork erection. So we will be placing our concrete on a formwork. So almost all the concreting will be done with the help of the formwork. So formwork we need to design properly. We need to consider during the design of a formwork, we need to consider the dead height, the working load, the wind loads if it is in the higher heights. Then so many factors we need to consider, and properly we need to design the formwork. Then formwork material, what type of material I'm going to use, whether it is a timber or whether it is a steel or whether it is aluminum or whether it is some fiber boards, whether the materials will be reusable, that plays a major role in the quality of the concrete. Suppose if I use this timber as a material, then certainly it will absorb some moisture content from the concrete if I place the concrete on that. If I use the steel, then there will not be any absorption of water from the concrete. But if we are not providing a proper sealing between the joints of the steel of formworks, then automatically there will be loss of water, which will lead to the segregation. It will lead to the bleeding. And we need to take a lot of precautions during the erection of formwork, because you need to maintain the level of the formwork. If you are not maintaining it, automatically there will be eccentric loading or there will be exposure of reinforcements, which certainly affect the structural stability or structural integrity of the building. Then it comes to the storage of ingredients. So the quality of the materials will be decided by the storage of ingredients. Suppose if I'm storing the cement, I have to store the cement above the ground level. Some gap will be given, and I have to stack one over another bags. Say I should not go not more than 10 bags in height, and there should be a proper spacing between the lots, and it should be properly covered. And I have to see the manufacturing date of the cement. If I use older cement, then I'll be getting in lesser strength. So the racking of cement is very, very important, and it should be stored properly. It should be covered properly. Then aggregate storing. So usually we can see in the construction sites, we will be just seeing that people will be just storing it outside the road, and it is highly exposed to the dust, highly exposed to the environment. And if you are not washing it properly, then that will lead to the big concern for the quality. Then water, how we are going to store the water, whether it is a tank or some tankers or some bunkers, we are going to we need to see the quality of the water before using of any concrete operation. Then admixtures. So because maintaining storing the admixtures is highly dangerous, because it is highly chemically active. So we should keep safely we should keep the admixtures in a safe position, where it should not expose to any high temperature, or it should not expose to any sharp objects. If it is spillover is there, it will be having some impact on the people who is working on the site. Then batching of ingredients. How we are going to give the volume of ingredients material during the concreting. So each and every stage of batching, whether we are going to do a volume batching or wave batching, If it is a lab control experiment, or if it is a smaller, we can go for a wave batching. If it is a bigger work, we have to go for an volume batching. In case of volume batching, we need to calculate about the void ratio, bulk density, bulking. These are the factors will decide exactly about the volume of the aggregate or volume of the ingredients to be going to used in the mixing. Then mixing of ingredients, how we are going to mix, whether we are going to mix manually or mechanically, or we are going to use any roller things, and that will also decide the quality of the end product concrete. Whether we need to maintain in the mixing only, we need to maintain the water cement ratio correctly, because the people who is going to mix, they doesn't know about what is the water cement ratio or water based binder ratio and all. So a person should be there, a responsible person, the site engineer should be there in order to advise them that you have to maintain the water cement ratio, not to pour, or they have to keep the water whatever necessary. Then how we are going to transport the concrete? Transportation by either by conveyor belts or by trucks or by trolley. So that also will decide the quality of the concrete, because it will have some time to transfer from the place of mixing to the place of concreting operations. And depositing is nothing but pouring the concrete of the reinforcement cage. So whether we are going to pour with the help of a boomer, or we are going to pour the concrete with the help of people, or we are going to pour the concrete with the help of a pump. So that will decide the compaction capacity of the concrete on the reinforcements. So we need to take care of the concrete. It should not directly pour on the reinforcement cage, which certainly it will distract, or it will disturb the alignment of the concrete reinforcement on the formwork. So we should take care during the depositing of the concrete. After that, we need to compact it properly with the help of vibrators. Then joint making. I already told that the joint between the beam and the column, or beam and the slab, it should be properly maintained in order to get a very qualified product. Then curing. At the last, we need to cure properly to get a very good qualified concrete after during the usage. So after that, we need to remove the formwork properly, because all the formworks we are trying to reuse it for the next project. So it is a high economies involved in the formwork, so we need to properly remove it. And the removal time will be based on what type of concrete we already casted, or what type of concrete we are expecting, and what type of cement we used. That will decide what type of fineness of cement is there. So that will decide the yearly strength, or the strength of the concrete before the removal of the formwork. Then patchwork is related to the formwork removal. If you have properly removed the formwork in a proper way, certainly your patchwork will be less. So that will reduce the certainly reduce the materials required for repair works or patchworks. So this is called a concrete quality chain, which each and everything will be related with the quality, starting from the cement type and quality, then aggregate quantity and grading, and third on water quantity and quality, material storage, fixing formwork, reinforcement cage placing in the formwork, batching and mixing. Between the batching and transporting, I need to check the quality of the fresh concrete. You start with the slump, air permeability, setting time, ignition point, everything, ignition loss, everything you can measure during the fresh concreting. Then after transporting, you are going to place and compacting, joint making, and for surface finishing, curing, formwork removal, and repair and patchwork. So if you take in actual construction site, this is the quality. This is the quality control, quality chain, or a concrete quality chain will be followed in the construction site. It starts with the materials quality control and the construction inspection quality control. Material quality control deals with only with the materials, mix design, and related to that. And after that, quality construction inspection is nothing but related to the drawing and specification of the reinforcement, formwork design, and placing of concrete and curing. These are related to the construction inspection and quality control. So if I take concrete quality control, here always I specify construction quality, because construction quality is nothing but it is also have the among with the concrete. So the quality of materials which are used in the construction, that will play a major role with respect to the quality. The expertise of the work, the technology we adopted in the construction. Nowadays we are using new technologies for the construction purpose. The number, type, and quality of inspections. So this plays a major role. So if you are increasing the inspection, automatically you will be getting a qualified product. So people having an eye on the quality of the material which are used, so certainly the quality will be increased at the end product. Then quality and consciousness of the people. Certainly people should know what is quality means. So as I told earlier, quality will have a different definitions or meaning for a different field and for a different because it is nothing but a perception how people will take it. Then funds available for the construction quality control. Certainly we need to allot some funds for the quality control test or quality control methodologies. Then time available for the quality control procedures. Certainly time, this is a major factor which will decide about the quality control, because quality control will take some time, and we need to imbibe this quality control time in the schedule itself in order to get a good, well qualified end product of concrete. Then existing norms and guidelines for accessing the quality of construction of a particular type, because nowadays the standards or the guidelines are keep on changing. For example, in 2000, in the last decade, the minimum grade of concrete should be, for the concreting purpose, should be M20. Nowadays, the minimum grade of concrete should be M25. So who knows? After 10 years, they may change to M35. So it will be keep on changing. So that we need to take care of. That also plays a major role in the quality. Then experience and expertise of the inspector. So the inspecting person should know the importance of the building and whether the quality which is required there is suitable for the standards or not. So his experience plays a major role in inspecting the concrete. Then quality of the design. I'm talking about the design, what type of concrete, what type of reinforcement, how it is, that one. Then nature of the construction project. So if it is a normal construction, then I should not more worry on that. Suppose if it is an industrial structure, if I am constructing a nuclear power plant, I should have a more consciousness about the quality during the construction. So why the quality control is so complex is so many players are involved in the construction stage. Starting from concept planning, concept and planning, detailed drawing, construction. If you take construction, as I already told, batching, cleaning of aggregate, cleaning the construction equipments, then whether we need a special situation like manually mixing or a nominal mix. Temperatures ranges during the construction, method of transportation, so many factors, and the maintenance after the construction. These are some of the stages for the quality control, and so many players are involved. That's why it is so much difficult. So we will see some of the problems and these remedies. If you take, if segregation and bleeding is there, the main cause is because of mix may be lean or because of over vibration. That can be rectified by using a rich mixer, and you can avoid over vibration. If the next problem is the permeability and the shrinkage, if it is because of the lack of compaction, that also leads to the permeability. Then improper grading of aggregate will lead to the shrinkage. So that can be resorted by using a upper graded aggregate. Maybe you can use zone 2 or zone 3 in order to avoid this problem. So blowholes on exposed faces, that is because of improper mix design and inadequate cover and lack of sufficient vibration. If these are the causes, then automatically I have a remedial measure in order to make it. Right. Then plastic cracks, because of proper compaction or less cohesive mix will lead to the plastic cracks. That can be avoided by using a cohesive mix, cohesive rich mix, and place and compact the concrete in layers, avoiding any local points of arching. So you need to provide the concrete on the surfaces. If the dimension is more, then you need to go for layer by layer instead of full concreting. Then crazing is a major problem because of the carbonation, and this can be reduced by using we can reduce the water cement ratio, and you can use a pozzolanic cement, and you can keep the surface clean in order to avoid the crazing problems. In upper versions, then because of high water cement ratio and large quantity of lime released during hydration will be the cause, and that can be rectified using pozzolanic cement and reduce the water cement ratio. Then spalling, because of low concrete strength, that is we are not given a proper graded concrete, that will be the reason for the spalling. And form lining is not observant, so I already told about the type of formwork will plays a major role, so we have to take care of that. Then cement not hardening. So we have, before starting off any experiment, we need to find out the IST and FST of the cement. So in such cases, we need to see whether what type of cement it is. If it is slow setting cement, then I have to go for an appropriate accelerator. If it is adulterated or time is over, then in case of adulteration, you have to carry the field test all over the cement bags, and you need to fully change the lot, and you need to take a proper necessary action on the manufacturer, and you need to provide other remedial measures in order to maintain the hardening of the cement. Then loss of workability and mixing becoming harsh. Suppose during mixing time, if the mixing time is more, there is a possibility of mix becoming very harsh because of the temperature, or because of the grading of aggregate, because of absorption of water from the mix to the aggregates. That also will be the reason behind that. So in that case, what we can do is you should have a proper mix, proper aggregate grading should be there to avoid such problems. So usually the quality control can be accessed with the help of two main parameters. One is slump and another one is compressive strength. So nowadays new techniques are available in order to find out the strength of the concrete even after 1 day. We can go for an accelerator curing and we can test the strength of the concrete. Fine. Now, for how much sampling, for how much frequency of sample, I have to test this. That will be a major thing in the quality control. Sampling frequency and method, samples by volume of pore, samples by time, location of sampling. So these are the factors to be considered during for the sampling frequency and method. Then the testing method, whether the what type of test I'm going to use. Then acceptance criteria. Sometimes the basis of acceptance is which it can be stated that the concrete meets the requirements, hence it is accepted, and the corollary failing, which the concrete may not be accepted. But sometimes it will vary. Suppose if my concrete testing or my 28-day strength of the concrete is not accompanying with the standard value, I cannot reject it directly because the structure is already there. So in that case, what we can do is we can confine with the other test. Say NDT, you can go. You can test with the rebound hammer. You can go with an ultrasonic pulse velocity. You can check the strength. And if in all the scenarios, if the values are low, then you can go for a technique. If it is not, then final decision should be dismantling the structure. So many acceptance criteria is there in order to accept the things. And these are some of the codes which need to be considered. For example, if you take the quality control of a cement, what is the fineness, and for every load I need to test the fineness of the cement. Then shelf life, it should not be more than 3 months from the date of manufacture. Then in case of RMC, I need to test the MTC. For every load, I need to check the strength of the cement. In IST and FST, as per IS 12269, it should not be less than 30 minutes. IST should not be less than 30 minutes, and it should not be more than 600 minutes for FST, and this is for OPC. PPC and other cements is yet to come. And compressor strength, as you know, I have to see according to the standards. And we need to do one sample per brand per fortnight. Then chemical properties, as per the table of IS 12269, I need to go one sample per source. One sample per source. Because if the source different, then automatically the chemical combination will be different. Then if you take the aggregate, I need to see about the gradation, water absorption, specific gravity, chloride, sulfates, and moisture content. According to the Codal Provision IS 383/2016, and I have the frequency for that for each and every new source. For if you take the gradation, I need to check the gradation for every new source. For absorption, water absorption, I have to do for once in every 3 loads. If it is a specific gravity, once in 3 months, inclusive of all the sources. If it is chlorides and sulfates, I have to do once in 3 months, inclusive of all sources. Then moisture content, once per source. So same thing, fly ash is there. Fly ash, I need to see the fineness of the fly ash. Major problem with the handling the fly ash is the quality of the fly ash is not same as what we get in different sources. So the fineness should be maintained, and it should be according to the IS over 3812 part 1. Then water, it should follow IS 456. They have specified the quality of the water and the pH of the water to be maintained, and it should be done for every new sources. Then uniformity requirements for the admixture, it is done by according to the IS 1903/1999. And this should be done for every source. Then steel also it is given for every 500 metric tons. So you need to do the tensile strength, then percentage of elongation, unit weight, rebend test, bend test, chemical property should be done for the steel which is used for the construction. So if you take the quality control several stages, for example, it starts with the earthwork. We will broadly classify into 5 stages: earthwork, substructure, superstructure, then after construction, then electrical. So totally 5 stages are there. In each stages, you have to look for the quality control and their inspection. For example, earthwork, the measurement of dimension of different directions in terms of height, width, and length. Excavation of soil, determination of soil properties, and compacting soil. For that, you need an accurate measurement with a precise instrument. You should use a good equipment with good calibration, and use of standard procedures for testing of soil, and use of equipment for compaction. So these are some of the quality control should be considered during the earthwork. Likewise, masonry, likewise substructure, superstructure, and electrical services are there. So the main aim of implementing the quality is to provide durability, strength, impermeability, workability, dimensional stability, good appearance, water content, and finally economy. So I will skip on this. I will be running out of time. So these are the overall checklist during the concreting. We need to check these things before any concreting work. So this is a good checklist for the quality control measures. And ultimately, whatever quality control is done by the contractor of the field. So he should have a proper quality control plan and for execution of the quality in the concrete. So for that, you need to appoint a proper responsible person, and ensure both his expertise, experience, and independence of impartiality of the responsible person. So, believing the person who is responsible there should be a consider. Then submit a rough concrete design. Always is not only the concrete design provided by the designer, and he also should have an idea about the concrete design. So he has some limitations on the things, that is limitation on finance, limitation on communication, limitation of labor and wage, limitation of weather, of building plan and construction detail, limitation of material and equipment, limitation of time, and on construction methodology and rule regulations, training policies, lack of coordination among the departments, and other limitations. That is, say nowadays migrant workers are there. They have some having some obstruction in communicating the correct thing to the people who are working there. That leads to other limitations. In being site engineers, quality plan, control plan, you should have a quality plan. So there are some checklists there for a concrete formwork. You have to check the locations of the formwork. You have to check interior condition of the form, whether it is having a good soundness and proper surface finish is there, and the support should be conformed with the formed works and the basic soundness. Then proper, you have to check with the proper shoring and bracing, and before the use of any concreting, it should be wet. Then it should be cleaned. It should be cleaned and out before pouring, and check the installation numbers. Everything you should be done for the concrete form. Then cast in place concrete. The checklist are the first one already did formworks and rebars. Then we show that concrete is according to the mixed design, and you need to check the certificate ID because nowadays we are relying on the RMC. You have to see that and inspect at batching plant if required. So if you are not okay with the concrete which is provided there, you can go to the batching plant itself. Possibilities are there. Then check the time of receipts of ready mix, amount of water added if formatted at mixing time. Be sure trucks do not overstay maximum waiting period before placing of concrete, usually less than an hour. So these are some of the checklists. So the final slide here, that is what we see is quality control. And the best way of getting a qualified product is, instead of quality control, we can go for a quality assurance. Quality assurance in the construction activities, it actually guides the correct use of structural design specification and proper materials, ensuring the quality of workmanship by the contractor, subcontractor is achieved, and finally maintaining the structure after construction is complete through the periodic assessment of for maintenance and repairs. Basically, quality assurance is a process-based approach. So its prime objective is to prevent the defects in deliverable in planning. The quality assurance is a proactive process. It starts at a very beginning stage of the project itself to understand about the problems which we are going to face. So the best example of quality assurance is the quality audit. Usually, quality cost, that is quality control cost, falls between 10 to 30%, and the quality control cost will be the summation of both quality control cost and failure cost. Quality control cost is nothing but the prevention cost and operational cost, and failure cost is nothing but internal failure cost and external failure cost. So these can be avoided. The failure cost can be avoided if you are properly doing the quality control. It certainly reduces the cost of the construction. So the cost of the quality depends upon the prevention cost, operational cost, external failure cost, measurement and equipment, test equipment, and internal failures. So if you are maintaining a proper relationship, proper improvement in the quality, automatically the cost of the quality will get reduced. So these are some of the selected references for this presentation, and I thank once again I thank Department of Civil Engineering, Francis Xavier Engineering College for giving me the opportunity, and the time which required for this presentation is too short. Actually, I have rushed through the presentation, and one more request is now it is a pandemic time. It is COVID time. I know you people are very responsible. My one humble request is make others also responsible. You advise them to wear the mask, to keep the social distancing, to wash their hands regularly in order to avoid this COVID-19, and we can win the war in overtaking this pandemic disease. Thank you for the opportunity. Any question is there, you can ask.